Joe Biden has been declared president-elect after a few days of counting the votes and possibly still counting. It does seem like that we do have a clear victor, though. It seems that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be the presidential and vice presidential candidates, and they are both breaking history with their nominations. So Joe Biden in particular, he has gotten the most presidential votes of any president ever, which sounds wild if you really think about it. But I mean, we can try to explain it. So as of right now, he's gotten about 74 million votes, so close to 75 million votes. Obama got about 69 million, so close to 70 million votes whenever he was elected. And so yeah, about 5 million more than the previous most popular or the most voted president. And yeah, you just ask yourself like why and how, and I guess you could make a case for there to be some type of fraud because neither one of these candidates are necessarily popular. Personally, I think that the large voter turnout wasn't necessarily for Joe Biden specifically as much as it was against Donald Trump. Definitely, that's really how I can explain it. I feel like anybody could have been in Joe Biden's position and gotten those amount of votes. Joe Biden himself didn't really do much campaigning, and it was kind of easy to stay out of the limelight because of COVID-19. But yeah, the most votes of any presidential candidate ever. He's also, at the time of his inauguration, he will be the oldest sitting president ever. He'll be 78 years old by the time he's sworn in. His birthday is next Friday, actually. His birthday is next Friday because I think mine is next Thursday. But he'll be 78 by the time he gets into office. And yeah, the oldest president. Personally, I feel like just like there should be a cap in terms of, whenever you're able to vote, you can vote whenever you're 18. There should be a cap whenever you should be able to stop running for president. Well, let me say this better. Just like whenever there's a cap to whenever you can run for president, there should be a cap to whenever you should stop being eligible to run for president. So you can't run for president until you're 35. You should have to stop when you're 70 or something. Not saying that he's not competent, but at a certain age, you're not really reflecting the masses of the American population. Joe Biden doesn't really represent a lot. Neither one of those candidates really represented a large number of Americans, and yeah, Joe Biden. Even though I will admit that he is better than Donald Trump, it's like how much better? Does he really do anything for me, or is he actually out of touch? Is he actually better than Donald Trump, or does he just not say the things that Donald Trump will say? So only time will tell on that. He'll possibly end up being one term just like Trump. So yeah, like I said, he really just anybody could have ran against Donald Trump and possibly done well. But the most important bit of history, in my opinion, is Kamala Harris, specifically being the first not only woman but person of color in in the White House. No woman has been that close to the presidency. I mean, clearly you've had first ladies. I mean, that's kind of standard, but before Kamala, you can look at the history books. Before Kamala Harris, it's been a fraternity of men. And until 2008, quite literally, it was a fraternity of exclusively white men. So, despite Kamala Harris's policies, because I mean, let's just take the policies out the way for a second, even though those are the most important part. She represents a positive change in my opinion. You know, she's the first woman to be vice president. Like I said, there's never been a woman closer to the presidency, and she's also a woman of color. She is a black woman and an Indian woman, or an Asian woman. Her mother's Indian, her father's Jamaican, I believe, so she's multicultural. And granted, normally, most often, I will not really care about an individual based on their identity. I really only care about policies. And I don't agree with a lot of the things Kamala Harris does. Don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with everything, but yeah, there's a lot of things that I find wrong with both of these individuals. But purely speaking, from this historical standpoint, if you just take a step back and just realize the history being made with a woman being vice president, that's pretty cool. You know, it after having 4 years of what we had, and then having, you know, a woman, you know, in the White House after almost having a woman president, you know, it is kind of refreshing to see that, yeah, this country can be a little progressive sometimes when we want to be, you know. But I do know people that voted for Hillary specifically so they could be on the right side of history and they could see the change despite who she was politically, because, you know, there's a lot wrong with Hillary, but people wanted to see that history being made. And with Kamala, I feel like this is that, you know, this is some history being made. Now, obviously, that only goes so far, and we're gonna have to see what both of these people do. But yeah, quite a bit of history being made with the Biden-Harris presidency. Yeah, hopefully they make a lot more meaningful history during their term.